Here. A reminder for folks who are tuning in, maybe for the first time, this isn't like a standard newscast. It's just us talking. Had a lot of people commenting on that yesterday. I'm just running down some of the stories that you really seem to be interested in. Go ahead and share your feedback. Honestly, even if it's about me, I have a thick skin. We can roll with it. Brandon, though, gets maybe a little annoyed scrolling through all of our comments. Brandon is running the computer today. So when you leave your comments and questions about the stories that we talk about today, we're going to bring them back up on the back end. It's about as close to a dialogue as we can get with this. But that is the point of these updates, is to have a conversation about the big stories. And, you know, some of them might not elicit much of a reaction, and that's okay. But hopefully we'll get you talking with some of the lighter, more fun ones here toward the end. But first off, and Brandon, don't worry about video, just some breaking news that I want to cover. There was a lockdown at the White House, evacuation of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. because of a violation of airspace. It's an all clear now. Everything is good, but something that we're monitoring. You can read more about that on khou.com. Now to some local stories that you guys are really clicking on. The first is a story that developed overnight. Katy police are investigating two separate, or I should say Fort Bend County Sheriff's deputies are investigating two different shootings or reports of shootings in the Katy area. So the first one happened in the 24 block of Katy Ranch, and there wasn't any evidence of anyone getting hurt. Well, then, not long later, a deputy found a victim in a car in the 1500 block of Katy Fort Bend Road, and they think that the two scenes are connected. The victim, who was found, was 17 years old. He died in that car. There were 3 other teens in there with him, so deputies are obviously asking those teens what happened, but we don't have any answers on that just yet. Everything that we have is online at khou.com. We'll update that article as we get new information, so I'd suggest you keep going back to that article if you're interested in that story. The next one, and this is crazy, we talked about it yesterday, the death of a woman who was a caretaker in Anahuac. Her body was found Sunday morning, and actually, Brandon, this starts off, well, let me show you first video of Christine Robbins. So this is the woman whose body was found on Sunday morning, and we now know that she was killed by feral hogs. That's what the Chambers County Sheriff said yesterday. And there's some sound from him on the top of this next video, Brandon, if you want to play that, him describing what it was like.
There's less than 6 of these have been reported in the nation over the many, many years of reporting these kind of deaths. In my 35 years, I will tell you, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
That's one of the worst things he's seen in 35 years. Can't imagine. Her body was actually found by the couple she cared for when she didn't show up at the home on time. So feral hogs, they've been a topic of discussion in Texas for so long. You're no longer required to have a hunting license to shoot one on your property or to kill one on your property. But the USDA estimates there are about 2.6 million of them in the state of Texas, and each one causes an average of $200 damage each. So 2.6 million multiplied out by $200. And normally it's things like tearing up fields, damaging fences. Death by feral hogs is very, very rare. There are fewer than 10 people killed by feral hogs since the 1880s. I've only ever seen one since I moved here. It was roadkill. It was on the side of the road. It looked like a bear. I didn't realize at the time how big these things were and how destructive they can be, but I know a lot of you are sounding off on damage that they've caused to your property or when you've seen them, any interaction you've had with them. So this is a story you're showing a lot of interest in, and we will continue to get updates if you want to check khou.com. What would you do if you were digging in your flower bed, the house you bought a couple months ago, and you found a skull? Happened in Champions Forest. Show you a little clip. There it is. Yeah. So this guy bought a house in Champion Forest. He was digging in the flower bed, thought it was a rock, so he pulled it up. Nope, definitely a skull. He called 911, and he found out that this is what's called a trophy skull. So it's something that has been used for maybe medical research in the past. And the former homeowner admitted now that skull was his. A friend gave it to him. He'd had it for years and years. It was up in the attic. And when he was cleaning out the house to sell, he didn't know what to do with the skull. So he just buried it in the flower bed. Not really expecting anyone to find it, but here the new homeowner did. So kind of a scary situation. I don't know what I'd do if I found that in there. Probably definitely call 911. A little bit alarming. Just keep showing the video of the skull over and over again. Yeah, so there's your start to your Tuesday morning. Are you headed out to travel this Thanksgiving? A lot of people are. Record number expected on the roads. Like 50 million people are expected to drive wherever they're going for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be driving to work and back. But the conditions across the country, if you're flying, are not good. Take a look at Washington. Do we have video there? There it is. Brandon's pulling it up. We're going to check in with Erica in just 1 second. But this is what it looks like in eastern Washington. Just inches and inches of snow. Denver's got 4 inches of snow already, or I think, yeah, 4 inches. And Erica told me earlier this morning another ½ foot to go. Just absolutely crazy. So let me know where you're headed. Maybe Erica can give you a personalized forecast to see what the weather's going to be like there. But we want to check in with her now. I want to point out, Erica, we have these fancy little things called IFBs now, and we can actually hear each other when we talk to each other.
Okay, I feel like Brandy, I can read your lips right now. I swear she's talking about the IFB. I don't have it in, so I can't hear, but you know what? I got the gist of it. Hey, we're talking about weather. Let's kick you off with what we're heading out to this morning. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Also, the fact that dew points are in the upper 60s. It is muggy out there, guys. Humidity on the high side, that's a good indication. That's a cold front's pushing through. It is not going to arrive until overnight tonight. So today's going to be another very warm day ahead for us. We're waking up to 70s, highs in the 80s yet again, and our high yesterday we topped out at 80. It's going to be day 2 in a row of 80-degree temperatures. Patchy rain is possible out there today. It's really just because it's so saturated. We have a strong onshore flow intact, so that's going to give us about a 20% chance of rain in the forecast today. Better rain chances arrive overnight as the cold front pushes through. Now, the good thing is the timing of the cold front, because this will be the wettest of the weather, and the wet weather is going to mainly clear out if you're planning to travel tomorrow for any local holiday traveling, at least for Southeast Texas. And then that front clears us out. We'll be 15 degrees cooler tomorrow afternoon with also a drier air mass in place. Still a few showers are possible, but overall our holiday travel across Southeast Texas tomorrow is going to be the best day to travel. Here's the reason why. Thanksgiving Day, a warm front pushes through. That's right. So that's going to warm us back up. That will also return the onshore flow, which means higher humidity returns for the holiday, and then scattered showers will be intact throughout the day. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about for any holiday shopping, or if you're heading to the parade. It won't be a washout of a day, but rain chances will be back. So here's your look at your weather headlines. Cold front overnight tonight. By tomorrow, it's going to be chilly again. And then Thanksgiving, the warm front moves in, so not as chilly and a lot more dreary out there. Then as we take a look at your holiday forecast across the country, that's where it's messy. If you're catching any flights from the Midwest to the Colorado Rockies, to the West Coast, guys, we have major travel issues out there, and the timing just couldn't be any worse. These tan shaded colors, those are all high wind warnings, so even those areas we may have a little bit of delay with flights that may have some issues because of some high winds out there. But winter weather continues, and we've already picked up at least a ½ foot of snow in areas surrounding Denver. An additional ½ foot to a foot is expected, so that's where at the moment we have the majority of the delays this morning. Next 3 days locally for us, we can't complain compared to what the rest of the country is dealing with. Today, another warm day on tap. Again, that cold front dropping us 15 degrees by tomorrow. Not gonna last long because the warm front arrives just in time for Turkey Day. But again, keep in mind most of the rain tomorrow will be in the morning, and then most of this rain on Thanksgiving Day will kind of be sporadic, widespread. Here's a look at your forecast forecast, if you're heading to the Thanksgiving Day parade, I still recommend at least a light sweater or so because it's going to be damp, temperatures in the 60s. You want to make sure you're staying nice and warm if you're out there for a good couple of hours. With the least of the rain chances early in the morning, as the day progresses, we'll have better rain chances. And again, the parade starts at 9 a.m., so something fun to do with the family before you get ready to eat that Thanksgiving meal. 7-day outlook keeps us wet, keeps us dreary. Another cold front pushes through Saturday into Sunday. That's going to return 60s, possibly even 50s into early next week. All right, Brandy, back to you.
All right, Erica, thank you. And I could hear you, which is so cool. Okay, so what I was saying earlier before I tossed to Erica, we have these little earpieces, and they're what we use normally when we're on air. So when we're on your TV, we can hear the producers in the booth, we can hear the directors in the booth if they need to move us around or they're giving us notes, new information, stuff like that. When we've been broadcasting up here, or at least in my case, we haven't had them. So when I've tossed Erica or Cheetah or Blake, whoever is filling in on weather, I've never really been able, I've never been able to hear them. So I just kind of tossed generically. But now, because Brandon is awesome, we were able to get them working. And now you can, now I can, well, actually now I can just hear myself. Now I could actually hear Erica's forecast. It's kind of nice. I wanted to mention that someone, there was a comment about Epstein and Amy Robach. So we are a CBS affiliate, but we can't, I don't have Amy Robach on like speed dial. So you'd probably have just as much luck contacting her as I would. So good luck. Our next story is kind of fun. I want to introduce you to Justin Mercer. Take a look at him. He is known as the tattooed realtor. Can you tell why? Maybe? He's trying to shatter the stigma of tattoos, people maybe not trusting or not taking someone seriously if they have tattoos. He actually turned a tattoo machine into a pin. So when you sign the documents with him, it's a tattoo machine gun thing. Little, you know what I'm talking about. I'm making a gesture back here that you can't see. Brandon can't see it either, but it's the pin. You know. Okay, Brandon's shaking his head.
No, we got it.
He also hands out tattoos, temporary tattoos to kids. So I'm curious, these days, do tattoos turn you off? Do you think anything differently about folks who have tattoos? I think anymore, they're just so generally accepted. Now, he is pushing it. He's got the face tattoos. I don't think anything anymore of people with like sleeves, tattoos on their arms. I just look at that, I get distracted because I'm like, that had to hurt, right? That had to hurt. I have a tattoo on my back. My two girlfriends and I have kind of matching tattoos. I have a moon. My best friend Kinsey has the sun, and my friend Shasta has stars. We've known each other since I was 2, and I'm 37 now, so 35 years of friendship, I think maybe warrants tattoos. But let me know if you have any, if it's changed your perspective at all on folks who do have them. Like, what is your immediate reaction to seeing the tattooed realtor? By the way, he's working in the Phoenix area if you are interested in buying a home in Arizona. There you go. And finally, I know it's months out, but we're talking about Rodeo already because the lineup was released for the HIDEOUT. Have you ever been to this? I never have been because I've had to work mornings all the time. There's no way I'm going to the HIDEOUT, which is open from 6 until midnight. But here you go. Here's the lineup. If you're interested, I didn't recognize any names on there, but you might. And then the lineup for Rodeo Houston comes out in January, which is just a month and a half away. And then we're a month and a half away till Rodeo. It all comes up so fast. Who do you want to see play at Rodeo? Who is your like fingers crossed artist or band? I'd like another rock group to come through, but I don't think anybody I like is gonna ever probably play because they're not gonna bring in those kinds of crowds. So like, I'd love to see Metric. I don't think Metric's, although they could. They play Toyota Center in February. That'd be cool. Brandon, who would you want to see?
I'd be into something pop punk, but Green Day and Weezer and Fall Out Boy are all coming anyway, so I think I'm set. But
that's true.
Maybe if they could just come to the rodeo and hang out for a while.
Weezer would be a fun one. I could get behind Weezer.
I don't know. They're doing a lot of good covers lately. Maybe they could get some 80s and 90s country covers.
You want to hear some Toto covers?
I do. I want some River Phoenix to sing like Tim McGraw or something like that. I think that would be hilarious.
Do you listen to The Relationship?
I do not listen to The Relationship.
That's Brian. Is it Brian Bell?
Yeah.
It's Brian Bell's band. It's really good. Okay. Let's go through comments and questions.
Yeah, we have a couple people signing off on this story of the shooting. Just, I think we're all a little bit confused about this one.
Yeah, if it sounded like I was confused, it's because it's kind of a confusing story.
Yeah, especially with these two scenes that are connected. And yeah, a lot of people are saying, Robert's saying they're tied together. A lot of people are just upset that it's 17-year-old, so young to be having to deal with this. This is definitely a sad one.
Yeah, and we just don't have any information about it really at all at this point. So we don't know if it was road rage. We don't know what the circumstances were leading to this, or really even where or how the 17-year-old was shot. So we will be updating you. Though, a reminder that there is another update here at 2:15. And of course, KHU 11 News at noon. I know we have reporter Michelle Choi out there trying to get the latest on this. So she will be bringing that back.
Yeah, Robert B. is talking about the story with the skull in the flower bed. Why bury it,
Right?
Sam is saying it sounds pretty fishy. Robert wants to DNA test it.
Well, it all went through the National okay, hold on. I want to make sure I get this information right. So the case was filed with National Missing and Unidentified Person System, and it was determined that this was a trophy skull. So I don't know if there's like engraving somewhere that indicates that this was something that's already been through the system, but the previous homeowner says that it was given to him by a friend at his friend's grandmother's house outside of Texas when the boys were teenagers. Nothing says teenage fun like bringing home a skull from grandma's. But the former owner forgot about it until he cleaned out the attic for this move. And so he told deputies, wasn't sure what to do with it, so he just buried it.
Just love that desperation move to just, man, if I had space in this last box for the skull, it might have made it. But since I don't, I guess it's just going in the flower bed because I got to leave.
I just can't imagine having a skull on hand in the first place. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Maybe he's a Renaissance actor or a stage and screen star.
Hamlet. Mm-hmm. Just carry one around in case the role calls for it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, we have a couple people signing off on the Realtor story. Not a lot of fans of visible tattoos.
Oh, okay.
Rosie is saying excessive tattoos. Maybe she's giving us a little leeway with that one. She's saying meh.
And it's silly, but I do have that mental cutoff, which is like the neck and head.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple visible tattoos, but I also have a cutoff, and I'm pretty sure it starts at the collar line. Like, not only my pain threshold could not handle that, but just like, I want to be able to look you in the eye and not have to constantly like dart around your face to see what's on your face. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
So it's terrible, and that's why he's doing this. Because just because a person has tattoos doesn't mean they're less trustworthy or less competent or any of that. But I will point out that he does acting gigs on the side. You want to know what his first role was on?
President of the United States.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yep. Any wishes for Rodeo?
I haven't seen any rodeo comments yet. We have Walter here saying Kanye should show up to the rodeo. So. I mean,
he's obviously making trips to Houston.
Yeah.
They had Cardi B last year. I could see Kanye. Have I told the story about seeing Kanye? In 2005, I went to an indie rock festival called Sasquatch in the Northwest. So it's in the Gorge Amphitheater in the middle of the state of Washington. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's along the Columbia River Gorge. It's beautiful. beautiful. Look it up. Like, it's spectacular. But so in this lineup in 2005, it was like Arcade Fire, Wilco, Kanye West, Modest Mouse, and the Pixies. So sandwiched in the middle of great indie rock bands, Kanye. And it was early on, as he was starting. He'd been a producer for a while, but he was starting his solo career. And he's told the crowd that was the first time he performed Gold Digger live. Which is still my jam. It's a great song.
It's an interesting crowd to play at him for the first time, for sure.
Yeah, Central Washington, very rural. I'm going to post a picture of the gorge in the comments here so you can see it. I mean, just like Red Rocks in Denver gets a lot of love. It's nothing compared to the gorge. Okay, an alarm is going off on Brandon's phone, which means it's probably time to wrap up. That update is coming up at 2:15. You can tune in for that. We'll be back in action tomorrow. I hope you have a good day.